What up, what up, what up? Good morning, guys. It is Monday. What is today? The 8th. I figured I'm going to do a stock video to welcome in the new week. Monday. Uh, Here we are looking at kind of a morning brief, quick on the total of what's going on. There is a Netflix deal to purchase Warner Brothers going on right now. And Trump is commenting on it, saying that he doesn't think it's a good deal. He has uh, commented on such things before. I think he's referring to something about media. I mean, he doesn't like CNN and some of the fake news. So I don't know what his deal is with Warner Brothers specifically and Netflix. Um, because I thought those are both just the streaming side of things, not live. But if we look at the heat map on the market today, it's a pretty green market everywhere. A couple reds here and there scattered, but a good start to the week. When trading the market, always kind of try to avoid that first 10-15 minutes of the market. A lot of times there's a not necessarily a misdirection, but that's where a lot of volatility, especially on a Monday, will spew in, and moves will be very erratic. Also, if you're doing options, it's going to be it would be very expensive at that time. So as we see a lot of these, like we can look at Amcor right now, they did a come back here. What I'm talking about were that first. So if we do a 5-minute candle, um, and we see today where we just opened right here, the initial move down and then shot up really fast. So anybody who jumped on this guy for calls out the gate was a big hit. Um, Personal favorite of mine is Intel. So what's going on with Intel? There's a lot of rumors sparred around who's going to be a foundry customer. There are 3 foundries in the world again. I touched on that a little bit in my kind of introductory to stock video. Um, the foundries are who take the materials to make these chips and semiconductors, lay them all out there, run them through, and then they find the good quality ones. There's a yield when they run this big huge disk through the machine to process all of the chips. Not all of them work. And that lower yield right now is why Intel is not used as much as like Taiwan Semi, who has like a 60% yield, and Intel's in like a 30% yield. So their chips are more expensive because they have to run the machine basically twice to get the same amount as Taiwan Semi. So out the gate, they had a little uh, pop up, and then it has faded down in the rest of it. So if we zoom out and try to find where this support is, because it broke this one that I had from previous. This is obviously failed. I know that there was some news coming out over the weekend where China is claiming that they have a 40% faster, 10% more efficient chip than Intel. Um, and then what is this one? Corrected news. India's Tata signs up Intel as major customer for 14 billion chip foray. So that Intel is one of the major customers, not the first. India's headline in paragraph 1 to say that Intel is one of major customers, not the first. India's Tata Electronics has secured Intel as a prospective customer for its upcoming chip facilities, potentially signaling the U.S. chipmakers' confidence in India's manufacturing ambitions. Old Salt to Software Tata Group. That should help with production and assemble some chips in India. So if we go real fast to the drawings, let's do a Fibonacci retractment just to kind of get a starting point. We're going to use that 4283 as the high. It's too high. And then we're going to come down here to this and see, like, we are all the way back down. Oh, I missed that one. Crooked mouse. Came all the way down and retracted to this 4069. Is that going to be the support zone where this returns around? If we look at options for this week to see what everyone's betting on, let's go to out of focus filter. Let's look at calls. Let's see. With everybody else bullish and going up, I would imagine that Intel should have some upward momentum here. Looks like it's starting to kick in. That could have been its little reversal off of the big move from Friday. Was that Friday? The 4th? Thursday? Yeah. So whenever you see a big move like that where there's too much green and there's not one single red retractment, especially on a short, like a 5-minute, it's going to want to pull back and kind of reconfirm all those zones and find the liquidity. Markets are always looking for the liquidity. They're looking for the high frequency of buys. So when this gets kind of toppy and buys slow down, price will fall as it searches for buys. Seeing this week some action at the $43 strike. What was that, 45? Yeah, 45. So pretty big jump to the $45 strike for this week. I mean, that's a 10% plus move looking there. AMD's having a good day. AMD is actually one that is rumored to be on the Intel Foundry list as somebody who will be a customer of Intel's, start making their chips here instead of Taiwan Semiconductor. Almost everybody uses Taiwan Semiconductor right now. Fund flow statistics. Trump says AI executive order coming this week. Well, that's interesting because that should include Intel. There must be only one rule book if we are going to continue to lead in AI. We're beating all countries at this point in the race, but that won't last long if we're going to have 50 states, many of them bad actors involved in rules and approval processes. There can be no doubt about this. AI will be destroyed in its infancy. I will be doing a one rule executive order this week. You can't expect a company to get 50 approvals every time they want to do something that will never work. That's exciting. Most likely exciting for... Oh, we got all kinds of stuff popping off. Tip breaks is kind of annoying sometimes. AI losers, according to Webush, says Intel, Qualcomm, and Adobe, which is ironic because Qualcomm is also rumored to become a Intel Foundry customer. Oh yeah, I don't want to have an account. I don't like seeking alpha, but that's when you see like good rumors like Apple is a customer, AMD is a customer, Nvidia becoming a bigger customer, Qualcomm becoming a customer. There's a lot of stuff geared around Intel in a positive light, and then you see some articles come out that are slightly bashing, especially from like a Tip Ranks or Seeking Alpha or Motley Fools or whoever. Those guys are typically paid or funded, endorsed, sponsored, and they kind of create a misdirection. And so don't always read the headline first, but Looking to see Intel get back over 41.20 today would be nice. It looks like it's going to try to make a good run there right now. And then the next level we would want to see it come up to is 41.68. Who else is looking interesting today? No big move. This has been kind of an under the radar one. These guys, brief. These guys are engaged in designing, providing hardware, platform, supply chain solutions, customers, technology, cloud software, very data center driven, I believe. But they have outran NVIDIA, kind of, and quietly. Nobody's really talking about them. When you zoom out and you look at May, when everybody kind of restarted this run up, these guys are kind of one that just ran. So I'm gonna do an extended line. I mean, it's strong above that. And let's go with. So what I just threw on are two extended lines. I went off of some wick points. I kind of missed. I didn't go too specific, but I was kind of showing these wicks down and multi-touches are testing the support line. So this is a supportive line and pretty steep, meaning that this is heading in a very bullish direction. And then in the same vice versa, this is the top end where touched here, touched here, touched here, touched here, broke out of it but came back into it. So this is the resistance side. So any kind of big move, which was like this, has to break through this with a lot of momentum to move up. And then at some point, it's either got to create a new trend and have a lot of confirmation with the news or with whatever created that move, or it's going to probably come back into that trend. You could, if we even go one more, this is going to be a longer one, but I'm going to do just this as a ray, so it's not too crazy. Top, let's change the color on that one so it's different. So honoring this big one, this big jump up here at the beginning of the year before the market pulled back with the tariff scare. This is going to be your top now, and we established the top with this one, so we'll see what happens when it retests this. But you're going to see a break above this one cause a move to this one, and these channels will always just kind of reestablish themselves. The market likes to move, you know, like with an ebb and flow status. It's going to go up and test resistance, come down and find support, come up and test resistance, because the markets want orders to be filled and want the liquidity and volume and all of that. So anytime as soon as buying stalls, it quickly seeks orders to be filled. Looks like the Republican stock leader is getting ready to break out. What you see here is a breakout attempt on a big candle, stopped, coming down, and now retesting that. So this is either going to be a double top, which could fail, or this could be a retrace and a breakout attempt over this. So that'll be interesting to see if that move happens. Do we not have horizontal ray? I can only do a full horizontal line. Okay, that's fine. So it is above that price right now, technically. Oh, why did I draw it so low? Oh, because today is a new high. Today is set a new high and has came back down. Let's go into the 15-minute. When trading, especially on kind of that mid-range play, I use 15-minute candles, but I confirm my entry on the 5-minute. So I like building up I want that one, and I need need some indicators on here. So ones that I use are the MACD, and then I really love this one, which is not on here. Is it not? Why is it on my phone but not on? Huh. That's weird. RSI, I guess we'll see. And let's do EMA. Okay, so let's go edit these real quick. We want the 5. We're only going to do 2 of them. We're going to do a longer one. And we're going to make the longer one yellow. Oops, I did not do that. We're going to do market likes multiples of 9. Or of 3, sorry, 3. And then let's do 90. And we're going to make this one be purple. Okay. I don't want the night. Let's see what we got zooming in here. Above both of those, I want to look at Intel, because Intel's who I think is a good position today. I like trading Intel a lot. I've been following Intel the most since last December when it was all the way down to $18. January touched $17. So I have a very strong following of Intel. And you can see on the 5-minute, those moving averages are above because it's been tailing down. Looking to reclaim 41. Pop into the 15-minute. So this one is MACD. It's a moving average, convergence, and divergence. So as these moving averages trend is what these yellow lines are here. And we got the momentum based on the buying and selling being red and green, and how those moving averages are moving. So let's go to a 1 hour to get kind of a cleaner look. So strong momentum up, and the moving average, and it's well above its moving averages. Price well above, you can see. But this was extremely overbought. I mean, there's a lot of excitement on that, and that is a sign that there's going to be a little bit of pullback, and pullback is healthy, and that's why we saw this pullback pretty sharp here where we came red, crossed down, and now we're looking for this as a buying opportunity. We're looking for, if we come into the 30-minute, that there might be a little bit of continuance down. We're going to probably test this 40.68 a little bit more. That's probably the entry zone, actually, or a decent entry zone once it confirms that it's going up, and maybe an addition or maybe even profit taking if you just want to go 40.68 to 41.53, depending on what your move is on if your option moves quick, or if you're just buying shares. This would be a good entry point to start adding. I wouldn't dive in completely because we still have a little bit of selling pressure building that we could try to find before the momentum turns. And as you kind of confirm that into the shorter time zones, or time durations, you're gonna see that this might bottom out quicker on one of these ones. We're waiting for this to round, so we still need the move up. So it looks like it's wanting. It's kind of wanting to. This is flattening, finding the support. And we should it's so much easier to see in dark mode. I don't know why it always wants to default back to the lighter mode. See that momentum coming back up. So I'm going to zoom this out to the 4 hour. These older white lines are ones that I drew forever ago. As we zoom out of this, see, we were still in buying pressure, but this was cooling on that one. So if we go into the 1 hour, we can see we're red and failing. So would be not a buy yet, is what those are signaling on the indicators. Looking for this to find some more support, and it might be at the 40.07 range. Is that an old fib line that I drew? I'm going to delete that because I don't know if I like that. Oh, I added some. Some of these lines are very old because, like I said, I've been tracking this one for so long. I'm not going to delete that red one because that red one is my ultimate trend line. If we go to the weekly, that is from the tippy top from when it peaked back in 2021 during the pandemic, post-pandemic run-up, and said its all-time high. And then afterwards in 2024, this is kind of what confirmed its downtrend. They removed their CEO. Their CEO focused on the foundry and made some other moves that they didn't really agree with. And they fell way behind in the AI sector, and everybody jumped on the NVIDIA bandwagon. And the more that NVIDIA got bigger, Intel got smaller, and that's where you saw this big fade. Well, that was because the focus for AI was on GPUs, which is what NVIDIA designs, and nobody really focused on or thought much of the CPUs. And in my eyes, I was sitting there like, well, you can't run a GPU without a CPU. You need both. And Intel control was at the time like 85% of the CPU market. I think it's came down to like 75% over the last couple years as AMD's gotten significantly better. But if you go long term and you see this trend, that's what we're trying to break right now. And this is where this downtrend would break, and we would create this uptrend. And this uptrend I did up here, very short candle pattern, but I basically did it off of the two most recent all-time highs kind of thing. So if we did one more, this is more of a regular pattern. That's not going to be quite as much of like a breakout. So let's do the extend. And that also goes through the top of that one, which is kind of extra confirming. So this yellow one, we're going to get rid of just because it's too much into the top. But so this was a blue line shows, we'll make that one yellow now. I like yellow versus blue. So the yellow shows us our support of that previous run. Purple shows our resistance of that previous run. The red is this temporary downtrend. And you can't go too crazy far back to look for any of this action to line up with where we're at now. Other than just for fun's sake, we're going to do a ray because make this one not so crazy. And it can go all the way to there. And if we make that one orange, oh, this one's orange already. We want to make it white just to show it because I'm going to delete this. But just to show how the market always comes back and finds these trends and finds these support resistance lines even if they're farther down the road. And you have the support confirmed throughout here back in the early 2010 zone, came in and touched here, and then it even touches it again here on this side and shows it as resistance. So if this pushes down and this downtrend confirms, you're going to see it want to come all the way back here if it fails this breakout. It's already attempted once. It's about to make its second attempt. we're looking for this orange one to confirm it as support. The orange one is this short dated one from this top and this top, showing resistance after the run up. So I kind of did the watch this one. It was the CEO confirmation being gone. This was before he was gone. And then this was after the retest, and then it tested it here again. So this orange ray shows a support trend line that's looking to become, or well, it's resistant right now, but looking to become support. And we would much rather follow that one because that moves us up. We don't want to come back to this white one. That would be heading down. So I just want to do kind of a Monday recap and introduction this week. My focus would be on Intel. It has been all year long, so that's why I'm pretty deep into it. I look at it as, of the AI and chip stocks, it's one that hasn't had a full crazy run up like the other ones have. So to me, it's a value. I don't want to buy at the top. I want to buy it before the run. So my main strategy for stocks has always been look where big money is trying to get positioned into, and get positioned in with them, and then see the spikes and drops of while they're positioning. You're going to see some run-ups and some pullbacks and some run-ups and some pullbacks, and during that time is when I want to find the position. I want to make a little bit of money on the pops, and then ultimately once they pull the cap off and let it run like crazy, those are when Nvidia just goes straight up for a while. That was after the big money got positioned in. They don't let stuff run without being in it first. So, what I'm looking at, Intel getting smacked down. I mean, this was under book value, which is absurd. In the under $20 range, and I knew that was gonna end and take off. So being able to get in and now let the market run, once they have enough, this should really take off. And I've seen some simulations, I've seen some valuations, and some speculation kind of stuff on what we could potentially see out of Intel. And if it was to get to a comparable market cap as some of its peers, to its sales to valuation, looking at somewhere between $75 and $100 per share, which is a massive move, almost 100% from this current price. Some big potential moves as far as if you want to just buy shares and build a position, if you want to look at getting options, if you're doing swing trades, all kinds of different things that are possible with this one. And you could see, hopefully you see a big move similar to like what, Irene did this year, where they were, back in May, they were $5 and ran all the way up to 78. These guys were 275 and then ran all the way up to 1032. Nvidia's move happened a while ago. I mean, they were 86 and ran all the way up to 212 again. And their runs have been back to back to back. So that kind of move is something that I'm kind of speculating to see out of Intel, especially as the USA produced foundry. They're the only ones making chips in the USA, so that's kind of the theme of the political side. It's kind of the economic headwinds are all gearing towards between the tariffs and between uncertainties around China and what they're going to do. Kind of got to get everything that we want in made in the USA. So I'm thinking Intel is going to be the big winner next year, and I'm looking for that big, huge, straight up run. So, little Monday recap of how I kind of look at the stock market, to start the week. Mondays are volatile as everybody's getting positioned, so you don't always have to go make a play. If I was gonna say a play that I would want to play into with Intel, I would look at a 42 or 42.50 call option once I see this start reversing, because I think there could be another little bit of could be a little bit more downtrend. I can't imagine too much more. It's got to be really close to reversing here. um, I don't see puts in play. Let's see what they got going on. Big interest at the 40 if they want to break under 40, but not that big. I think this week is going to be more bullish. These don't make sense to me. Or scream big money action. So yeah, I'm definitely on the call side, and I'm definitely looking at these guys having big interest at the $45 strike. So I want to be below them. If big money wants it to come up to here, even if they don't want this to go into the money, what likely will happen is they will run the price up to sell these for more. So right now they're 17 cents times 100, because options are sold in lots of 100. So this is a $17 call. If they have 20,000 of them and they run this up to 35 cents, and it doesn't come into the money, but the price just comes up into this 44 range, well then these will be able to be sold discreetly as they become valuable, and then they could push it out of the money. So I look for ones that could be in the money, because one, they go up faster and takes a smaller move, and then if it is running, there's more profit to be made. So that's where I would look at closer to the money of 41.5 to 42.5. And these of course are more expensive, because if you look at this price, the way that a good way to kind of look at them is, this is what is the percent that it is likely to be in the money right now. So there is a 91% chance that this one is going to be in the money by Friday. There's a 72% chance of this one being in the money. There's a 58%. There's a 46%. So it's kind of a way to look at it. Looking for a reversal here to come up here pretty soon, and then jump on one of these. And for options, I like to get between 20 and 30% on shorter play stuff. If it's a 0 day, sometimes I'll go and I don't see the strength of a run or a big reversal, because like QQQ and them have 0 day options. QQQ is the top 100 tech stocks, and we are seeing the reversal. So this could be why Intel was coming down, was because the whole NASDAQ was coming down. We have SPY, SPX, the S&P 500. This is Dow, top 30. SPY is the 500. QQQ, top 100 tech. IWM is the mid caps. Very slightly down, but this looks to be wanting to reverse. So I think I'm in. If I had some money in here ready to add to my position, I would be looking at calls on Intel. Yep. All right. Sorry for the ramble, longer video. A little Monday introduction to the stock, how to break down and how to look at things in the morning to start your week. A little economic forecast on sentiment and what moves and affects the market, and where we're looking at getting positioned. Don't rush into it. There's always money to be made. Find good plays, find good positions that you can get in, and not be rushed, is my advice. Have a good day. I'm gonna go jump on the crypto side and see what's going on in the world of crypto and TXC.